Look at a map of Northern Europe. You have got Norway, Sweden, Denmark, the Scandinavian trio. They share similar flags, similar histories, and languages that are basically just different flavors of the same soup. And then there is Finland. Finland is the black sheep of the north. Their language sounds like nothing else in Europe. Their DNA tells a story of massive trek across the Eurasian steppe. And if you spend enough time on the weird side of the internet, you will find a theory that's as bold as it is bizarre. Finland is actually Asian. Today, we are diving into the Fingol memes, the Uralic Mystery, and the actual science behind why Finland might have more in common with the East than the West. To understand why people think Finland is Eastern, we have to talk about the way they speak. Most European languages belong to the Indo-European family. If you speak English, you can kind of squint with at Dutch or German and you can recognize a few words. But Finnish is a linguistic island. 80? Where did that come from? Well, it didn't come from Rome or Berlin. It came from the Ural Mountains in modern day Russia, the natural border between Europe and Asia. Host, Finnish belongs to the Uralic language family. Its closest being relatives are Estonian and surprisingly Hungarian. These languages didn't evolve from the same roots as the Vikings. It migrated from the east thousands of years ago. Structurally, it shares more logic with Turkish or Japanese, like agglutination, where you add endless suffixes to a word to change its meaning, than it does with English. It's not just the words, it is the blood. If we look at Y chromosomal DNA, things get really interesting. There's a specific genetic marker called Haplogroup N. This marker is most common in populations across northern Eurasia, from Siberia to China. In most of Europe, this marker is almost non existent, but in Finland, it's about 60% of the Finnish men. This suggests that the ancestors of modern Finns made a massive multi-generational journey from the east, while the rest of Europe was being settled by farmers from the Middle East and Yamnaya pastoralists from the steppes. The Finns' ancestors were trekking to the Siberian taiga. So, when people joke about Finnish samurais or great Hunnish empires, they're poking at a kernel of truth. The biological root of Finland points towards the Altai Mountains in Central Asia. We cannot talk about this without mentioning the internet. The Finland is Asian or Fingol, Finnish Mongol meme started as a way to troll Finnish nationalists, but the Finns, being the kings of self-deprecating humor, basically adopted it. But memes aside, there is a vibe shift when you cross the border from Sweden to Finland. The Finnish epic, the Kalevala, reads more like Central Asian myth than a Greek tragedy. It's full of singing magic and forest spirits. Even the traditional Finnish joik singing found among the Sami people has more in common with Truvan throat singing than it does with an Italian opera. Let's bring it back to earth for a second. Is Finland really Asian? Not in the modern geopolitical sense. Genetically, while that haplogroup N is there, thousands of years of living next to Swedes, Russians, and Balts made Finns are genetically very European today. And geographically, well, unless the maps are lying, they are firmly in the European Union. But the reason this Finland is Asian theory persists is that it highlights how unique Finland is. They are a bridge. They are the point where the deep ancient East met the cold rugged North. They have kept a language and a spirit alive that dates back to a migration most of Europe has forgotten. So, is Finland Asian? Maybe not by passport standards, but in its soul, in its syntax, and in its DNA. Finland carries a piece of the East that makes it most fascinating outsider in Europe. What do you think? Is the Fingol theory just a funny meme, or do you see the Eastern connection? Let me know in the comments, and if you want to see more deep dives into the weird history of the world, hit that subscribe button. Nakel Amin, or as they say in the East, well, you got the point.